introduction. I think it's who you've all been waiting for. You can sit down.
Can we stand up? I know you've got big heels on, but I prefer standing up. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
Welcome. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Are you good? I tell you, I have just had one of the best experiences of my life.
Well, actually, I'm meant to be interviewing you, but tell me about it. Tell me about it. This is an experience in a car, presumably.
Yeah, it was in a car, and I drove Alan Prost's 1986 World Championship winning car up the hill today, the McLaren. MP4 2C is what it's called. And I said to the guys, I pulled away first gear, and I said, there's no power at all, because this is the car that's supposed to have 1,000 horsepower. And they said, you just wait, you just wait. 8,000 revs came, and suddenly I got this big kick from behind, and the most power I've ever experienced, and I felt like a little kid again. And I'm still just buzzing from that experience.
But you are, but listen, it's been a few years since our paths last crossed, and a lot has changed since then.
Sounds wrong.
I don't know, does it?
That sounds wrong.
No, I'm talking purely professionally. Of course. A lot has changed. Yeah. And a lot has changed for you, hasn't it? I mean, when you were first starting out in karts and in little Formula cars, did you really think that you were going to make it to Formula One? Did you always have the belief? Did you really think you were going to win a world championship?
You know, I think it's important to always strive to be the best at what you do. Like the t-shirt down there, by the way, on the button. Very cool. Original, that one. It's good. But you should never think you're the best, you know, and that's the whole thing about, you know, going up through the lower formulas. You are fighting always to be the best, and you hope and you pray that one day you'll get the chance to race in a Formula One car and show what you can do. You know, for me, when I was racing in lower formulas, I was just enjoying the moment, and you know, you had to focus on the moment. You couldn't think about the future, because if you did, you took your eye off the ball, and you wouldn't succeed.
Now, at the time that you started, your career progression was very quick, because you went from karting and then Formula Ford, Formula 3, straight into Formula 1. There's so many junior Formula now. Do you think that talent is being lost, or do you think that it's actually a good proving ground for people to come through?
Yeah, I mean, some categories are they're very different to others. Like GP2, for example, you've got guys in there that have been racing for sort of 4 or 5 years, and they're coming good now. But does that mean that they're a great driver? I don't know. Or does it mean that they're just getting used to driving the same car? It's a difficult one to know. But no, there's a lot of talent out there, and I think in Formula One at the moment there's a lot of very competitive drivers, and I think it's possibly one of the best years. Well, it's definitely the best year I've been racing in Formula One for competitiveness. Yeah, that was good.
That was quite
good.
But
we've got Shoemaker back. He's back on the grid. So, and he's in a reasonably quick car. So it's a very competitive year this year. I'm going completely off the subject, but let's get back to it. And for me, I got into Formula One too soon, really. You know, I did 2 years of car racing, Formula Ford, Formula 3, and then I was in Formula One. I didn't have enough experience when I started in F1, and I had to learn my way in Formula One. And when you're in a good car, it's great. But when you're in a bad car...
Patrick Head and Frank Williams as your mentors, I guess?
Which was for 1 year, that was great. Yeah. They were amazing. And then the next year I struggled in a difficult car. So it's important to get all your sort of, you know, you need to learn in the lower formulas of how to set up a car. You need to learn about aerodynamics, because it is very different than driving a normal car when you stick wings on it. Because when you go through a corner, normally if you go a little bit faster through a high-speed corner, you lose grip, but with downforce you go quicker. You get more grip. So it's very confusing, and it takes a long time to get used to it. And for me, I did all of my learning in Formula One, which is not the best place really, because you know.
I don't know. I don't mind having it go.
Yeah, but it can go seriously wrong. So yeah, I was lucky in 2001 that I was able to sort myself out.
Now this year, as you're saying, it's a very competitive year, but we're also in a slightly different situation, because we've got these, some people are calling them Class B, or we can just call them the new teams. What's your take on the whole thing? I mean, do you think that it's not safe that they're actually racing out? Because there is a big speed differential, and there's more controversy for next year with speed differentials. What do you think about it?
Well, they're very similar in a straight line to us, because they have Cosworth engines, which are competitive. So they're quick in a straight line, so you don't have to worry about that. But obviously they're braking a lot earlier than the quick cars. But it's always been the way in Formula One. You've always had.
And it was a shame that one of them got in the way of Mark Webber, and you know that he got out of the way.
Somersault.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not belittling what happened. It was terrible, but
yeah, no, he
made a space.
Yeah, he had a massive
Podium.
accident, and you know, I spoke to Mark a little while ago before we did our run up the hill, and he's all fine, but he said it was a shock to the system, and he said it felt so slow when it actually tipped over the top. He said he was just holding on, and his legs were dangling inside the car, and he didn't know where he was going to land. But luckily enough, you know, he was fine, and I think it proves how far we've come with the safety of the cars. The car I was driving today, you know, I'm sat on the front wheels, and there's no crash structure in front of my feet, and it shows, you know, we've moved on a lot in the last 20 years, so it's good.
Now, 2008, end of 2008, 2009 looked like a very bleak time for you. Honda suddenly announced that they were going to pull out of Formula One, and we were all uncertain as to what was going to happen